And here's the problem Mike Bloomberg has. You see, no Democrat, I think everybody agrees on every side of the aisle, there is not a Democrat alive who can win in November without appreciable support within the African-American community. Okay? Mike Bloomberg has a little problem. It's called stop and frisk. For nearly 2 decades, Michael Bloomberg has vociferously defended the police action called stop and frisk. And this is something that a lot of people on the left believe targets minorities unfairly. It's racist. It's, a black kid is walking through. It's like driving while black. And yet it is a successful tool because police officers are trained to spot suspicious activity. Your hope is that the police officer isn't targeting somebody just because he's black or she's black, but perhaps acting in a suspicious way, jumping over the turnstile at the subway, whatever. Well, here's what Bloomberg said. This was back in 2015 at the Aspen Institute. And this is Mike Bloomberg. Cut number 7, a very passionate defense of stop and frisk. Now, the audio is a little hard to hear. I want to play it for you. And then I'll read the transcript of his comments so just to make sure you know what he said. You see, before you get all excited about Mike Bloomberg as a candidate, you just have to remember the big problem he's going to have with stop and frisk.
95% of your murderers and murder victims fit one MO. You can just take the description, Xerox it, and pass it out to all the cops. They are male, minorities, 15 to 25. That's true in New York. It's true in virtually every city. And that's where the real crime is. You've got to get the guns out of the hands of the people that get killed. She's going to be want to spend the money for a lot of cops in the street, put those cops where the crime is, which means in minority neighborhoods. So it's one of the unintended consequences is people say, oh my God, you are arresting kids for marijuana that are all minorities. Yes, that's true. Why? Because we put all the cops in the minority neighborhoods. Yes, that's true. Why do we do it? Because that's where all the crime is. And the way you get the guns out of the kids' hands is to throw them up against the wall and frisk them. And then they say, oh, I don't want that. I don't want to get caught, so they don't bring the gun. They may still have a gun, but they leave it at home.
Now, let me read the transcript of what you just heard. That's Mike Bloomberg, his words, his voice. He said 95% of your murderers, and murder victims fit one MO. You can just take the description, Xerox it, and pass it out to all the cops. They are male, minorities, 16 to 25. That's true in New York. That's true in virtually every city. And that's where the real crime is. You've got to get the guns out of the hands of people that are getting killed, he said. You want to spend the money on a lot of cops in the streets, put those cops where the crime is, which means in minority neighborhoods. So one of the unintended consequences is people say, oh my God, you are arresting kids for marijuana that are all minorities. Yes, that's true. Why? Because we put all the cops in minority neighborhoods. Yes, that's true. Why do we do it? Because that's where all the crime is. And the way you get the guns out of the kids' hands is throw them up against the walls and frisk them. Now, you don't think Donald Trump will make that a centerpiece of his campaign ads if he's facing Mike Bloomberg? Do you know how devastating that is? As African Americans hear that, and let's be clear here, Mike Bloomberg is a phony in pretending that he has suddenly, found the Lord and has renounced stop and frisk very recently. He has been pro stop and frisk for 17 years. 12 years as mayor, 5 years after mayor, after he was left office, and then all of a sudden he's running for president. Oops, I better go back. I better reverse. And he was real phony. Oh, I thought he was going to break down and cry. Oh, it was so awful that I was pro stop and frisk. Now I've seen the light, and stop and frisk is racist, and it's wrong. And oh, give me a break. You're as phony as Pocahontas.